Welcome, my Love Light Lifers. Nattie Tee here, your vibrational coach, and we are talking law of attraction for creatives, entrepreneurs, and freelancers. Today, though, manifestational tips for Libras. Are you born under the sun sign of Libra? Because you may have some hidden gems in your personality traits that can help you to manifest. Find out what they are. Libra. If you are a Libran or you have any of these traits, we're talking social, fair-minded, diplomatic, or gracious, then you have come to the right spot. We're going to talk about how these traits can help you to manifest, or even worse, maybe hinder you, and what to look out for. So first of all, let's take our first trait, our first Libran trait, which is social. Now, if you are social, chances are you like to be around other people. That's what I mean, to be social. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes being around other people is just what the doctor ordered. However, when you are looking to manifest and to basically stay in alignment, put yourself in alignment, you want to be as purposeful with your vibration as you can. And that means that when you're being social, you are going to come across a lot of contrast, which is good, because if you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. But being a social person and enjoying being with other people also means that you will tend to be around other people a lot. And that is not always a good thing. If you're a social person, what you're wanting to do is to make sure that you are spending some time with yourself. It may not be something that you like doing. It may not come natural to you. But I promise you, if you do make some time to be with yourself, well, one thing I will say is it will probably be hard at first if you're not used to doing it. Being alone isn't the best thing in the world for most people. But when there are reasons that you're not wanting to be alone, you can explore them, and you might find out a few things about yourself that could revolutionize your own self. In other words, you might find out the reasons why you don't want to be alone. And when you do that, you might realize that there are certain things that you believe that could be standing in your way when you're trying to manifest something specific that isn't coming. So if you're social, make sure that you are taking the time to be by yourself and be with your own thoughts as well. So knowing what your vibration is, what you want, who you are, and where you sit, making up your mind about those things, you'll be surprised how many of those things are influenced by people around you when you are a really social person and you don't take the time to actually sit back and spend some time with the most amazing person in your life, you. Next, fair-minded. Now, this just means that it's a really good trait if you're trying to manifest, by the way. Being fair-minded just means that you're not judgmental. You're fair. When you look at a situation, you're fair about it. In other words, you're not just judging people for the sake of judging people. And when we start judging people, this is an interesting one, because if you understand the vibrational exchange and how you and what you are attracting with the kinds of thoughts that you are having on a regular basis, you'll find that judgment in general on any subject is going to do this. This is how the vibration will work. You will judge somebody for doing something. You will not understand why they are doing something. You will have deemed that that thing that they are doing is A, right, or B, wrong. When you decide that it is right or wrong, or that they should or they shouldn't, what you're doing there is you are creating a rule book for yourself. And what that means is, as you pay attention to this person, you will see them do this thing that you are judging to be wrong, and then you will see more of it and more of it. And the more wrong you think it is, the more you'll see it, because the more it will annoy you, or the more negative emotion you'll feel around it, and the more you will, if you're not purposeful, think about it. And the more you think about it, the more you will draw it to yourself. The more you draw it to yourself, the more chances you have of experiencing it. Next thing you know, you're in a position that will cause you to do the thing that you have judged somebody else to be wrong for doing. Okay? It was a roundabout way of getting there, but you can see how judging people it seems harmless enough, but it actually really, really hurts your vibration, because you are bringing towards you a circumstance that will cause you to do the thing that you are judging to be wrong. Now, it's not that deciding you like an action or dislike an action is wrong. The problem is that when you attract that situation to yourself, that you have to do the thing that you've deemed as being wrong now, or be in this situation where you can't have what you want. Okay? So the idea is that when you judge somebody for wearing a particular type of clothing, or not wearing a particular type of clothing, like safety clothing, and going, oh, you really should have been wearing safety goggles, and then you get into a position where you have to do something and can't wear, or have decided not to wear safety goggles or something of the same. What's going to happen is, it doesn't matter what you choose, you will feel bad. If you choose to do the thing that you judge somebody else as wrong for doing, then guess what? You feel bad, because you programmed yourself to say that is not what I should be doing. That's not who I want to be. You didn't understand their position before you were in it. However, on the other side, if you decide I'm not going to do the thing that I deem as being wrong, you have to sort of bite the bullet on the thing that is causing you to need to do the thing. Okay, so let's give an example. Before I became a mother, I used to think parents who put leashes on their children were awful people. Okay, that's judgmental. But when my son was born and he was in that age bracket where they can walk and run and get around, but they can't understand what you're saying to them, and my son was very active, I knew then why people were using these leashes. And of course, I couldn't in my own right mind put a leash on my son, which could have made life easier for me, but I had judged it already, and I couldn't get away from my own judgment. And so that meant that those years were pretty tough for me, because my son was extra super duper active, and I couldn't use something that was a resource that I had available to me, but I had already judged as wrong, so I'd thrown it in the bin. So basically, this is not what you're looking to do. You're not looking to be judgmental on other people, because you never ever know how it feels to be in their shoes. Okay, we're going to jump into diplomatic. Okay, this bounces off being fair-minded, and it is basically to be able to act on being fair-minded, which means that we can act in a way that is balanced. We can see both sides of it. We're not judging yay right or yay wrong. And in certain situations, that can be really good, because it can keep the peace, you can keep your alignment, and you can judge situations according to each situation that you come into, rather than making a blanketed statement that really hinders you. Next is being gracious. Gratitude is one of the things that will help you to manifest. But please understand, I always teach, gratitude, appreciation. Appreciation is so much better than gratitude, because gratitude, you have to highlight something that was not as good that happened before, or something that isn't as good as where you are now, to be grateful. It's a thankful vibration. And it says, hey, I'm really thankful that I am not homeless. And that kind of says, oh, I'm grateful for having a roof over my head. It's kind of, depending on how you're doing it, it's less beautiful house with roof over my head and more, I'm so glad I'm not homeless. So be careful with gratitude. You got to really truly be thankful, which usually means that you're heading into appreciation. Do yourself a favor, just appreciate everything. Don't worry about being gracious. Just appreciate. So if you are wanting a personal coaching session with me, they are going to be available very, very soon, and you will find that information in the description down below. Until tomorrow, bye.